The biggest mock on my channel, tens of thousands of Lego pieces, new building techniques, 3 months of preparation and construction, a huge haul with Lego bricks from Germany, and all this to add a huge museum to our city from the game Hello Neighbor 2. I couldn't have imagined that it would take us so long to build the Ravenbrook city from Lego, and I've never been so wrong, assuring myself that I have a lot of parts and they should be enough for the whole mock. However, half of the city is ready.
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up.
And now I decided to make a museum in the right corner. The most complex, tall and huge building in the city, which stands on a hill, surrounded by a fence, trees. When you look at it for the first time, you don't even really understand what it is and how it can be built at all. But let's begin. Right after building the barn, I started expanding the city further. I can't wait to finish it. We begin to prepare the place. For the entire surface, I must raise the ground to the level of the road, leaving just a place for the hill on which the museum will stand on. If only you can knew how many bricks are under the base plates, and all because the hunter's house should be lower than other buildings, like the river, and everything else is much higher. With the rocks we will create a hill, not these rocks, but the Lego ones, and we detail them a little with the usual parts. Two paths lead to the museum, which split into two, thanks to the stone in the middle. Just look how tall the columns that support the plates on the hill. Okay, there is a hill, now we need to build the forest around it. Trees, flowers, and bushes. Great, I like it. And at this point, the building stopped, my details just ended. I have always ordered from Bricklink, but this site is no longer available for purchases in Russia. You will not be able to place an order and pay for it. I looked out the window and was sad again. How could I go around the system? I asked Rari Brick, our local shop, to bring me a package. And since Rari Brick works mainly through Bricklink, they have workarounds for delivery, and thanks to them, after 1.5 months, the package was in my hands. I had to wait, because all transport links with Europe were broken, and the package was coming from Germany. There are as many as 6,500 pieces here. Mainly for landscape detailing, brown roofs, and windows. Well, you see, it's beautiful. It's always nice to get brand new parts and think about what to build. Now I hope we can complete the city. However, as it turned out, the problems didn't end. There were not enough parts purchased. I also ran out of base plates. The museum won't fit 100% on our hill, we need to lengthen it. I had to fork out again and take as many as 8 base plates. It was already the second month on noodles, but the city should be finished. After 2 months of break, I finally continued building. And I began by placing platforms, preparing a place for a museum. I outlined the foundation and at first glance it seems very small, however the museum will be the largest building in our Lego city. Something is clearly weird here. At the same time, I made a gate to the garage, where the neighbor's brand new car is parked in the game, but I decided that this time we won't build any cars, a police car and a van were enough for me, but we'll make the gate, and let the neighbor walk on foot. We begin to make a wooden porch, with columns, ladders, and handrails. Now the Lego hall is starting to come in handy, where there were a lot of brown details. We will need a lot of such columns, they will support the roof of the second floor, we arrange it. And also, in a beautiful way, we detail the porch so that the neighbor can go out there with a coffee and get high on his Lego building, because he is happy with his house. We need not let him down with the museum. Before the construction went further, I removed the porch behind the scenes and slightly improved the area around the museum, especially between the columns, where it would be difficult to get closer later. And as in the hunters' and neighbors' houses, we will also glue the printed walls to get the result as close as possible to the original. We can make walls of any brick's color, stick windows there and arrange them. I printed out some pages of wall textures, and you remember what we have to do now. Tools, will in a fist, 100% concentration, outline, cut and glue. So, the first floor is ready. And now the coolest part begins. You will see how the museum grows before your eyes and becomes the most beautiful building on the channel. The roof of the museum is not wooden, like other houses in the city. Something like metal with corrosion and leaves that generally entangle the entire building. It looks great. I tried to do something similar for the entire first floor. And the most difficult thing was to connect the corners of the roof so that the cracks were almost invisible, and I had to destroy my Lego sets again. This time, Star Wars sets suffered.
For my brother Anakin, I loved you.
And now a large bay window, which is located in the center of the building and consists of 5 parts. For anyone who don't aware of a bay window is such a protruding semicircular thing in the architecture of buildings. And I think I've got something similar. Well, let's look at the finished second floor. On the right again a small porch, a couple of windows and a roof shed. Now a neighbor can chill on 2 floors. On the left side, everything is more complicated. 3 tall columns support the floor, foliage grows around the windows. All in all, everything looks good. I hope you like what it turns out. Let's fix the roof and add some more foliage. I prepared this feature for the end of the building to make beautiful grass around the museum, but I realized that it would look much more advantageous now. In the brick hall, I ordered 300 of these leaves details, and inserting them into ordinary foliage of the same color results in very realistic foliage, and in the museum it looks really 10 from 10. I put it from all sides. In the front part, I added the museum sign, only the letters, as in the original, are in the wrong order. Well, it's hello neighbor. Everything here is very strange and incomprehensible, as it should be. Already now you can see that the museum is much larger than the rest of the houses. Besides, we need to add the roof. And what the hell is it? You can already begin to sympathize me, because I broke my whole head, how to make it out of Lego. Let's start with its foundations. The bay window has a brown semicircle and sloping walls where the roof will lie. And now we look at all the assembled Lego elements of the future roof. And for you to understand, I built them for about 3 days, so that they all coincided with each other, were in the right proportions and slopes. It was a horrible time. Let's fasten. As for me, the coolest building is a chimney, a rectangular pipe. Here I used unusual techniques in the construction of Lego, where bricks are combined with flat. And have you seen the roof in the roof on the right side? Where some kind of attic sticks out, and the coolest thing is that it has almost no visible gaps with the main roof. This thing was really hard to create.
Try to play, but you're never gonna beat me. Look the other way, what I'm doing ain't easy. Bloody hands stained from the people who deceive me. Muddy hands break through the chains, go free me. People like sheep move feet, hurt it easy. You don't wanna be fast asleep when they scheming. Better stand tall, ready for a fight, believe me.
I can't believe, but the museum by itself is done. The building turned out to be majestic. It is 1.5 times larger than Granny's house from the third part that we built 2 years ago. But this is not the end. We need to make the landscape around the museum. Although in the original, there is green grass around the museum, like near the neighbor's house. It seems boring to me, and I decided to diversify the MOC with a dark area, a kind of swamp with unusual vegetation. After all, the museum itself looks old and even abandoned, so I want to reflect this mood on its territory. So, I started detailing the dark green areas to make the surface look uneven and realistic. As always, behind the scenes I will add accessories and vegetation, and now I can already see the finished museum, and it's just amazing.
I'm never gonna look back, 'cause Damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same, 'cause that's what it takes.
Taking on the construction of the museum, I could not even imagine that it would turn out so cool. It was such a huge building that every part of it terrified me. How to make it out of Lego? 3 months ago, I started building it and now it is done, standing on the table along with the whole city. Starting Hello Neighbor MOC, I didn't even imagine of such a big scale. I'm surprised at myself that each building surpasses the previous one, you think. Well, here it is, the neighbor's house. You won't build anything cooler, but then a museum appears, a huge building with the highest detail I'm capable of with the remaining details. And looking at it, I am more than satisfied with my work. Plants, trees, bushes fit perfectly, although the fence does not quite look like the original, but I have nothing better. A lonely tree stands without foliage, once again hinting at the antiquity of this place, and no other tree would fit better. I hope your wait was worth it and you enjoy my work. The next series will be the final one for the city. I hope I managed to build a bakery and Ravenbrooks is completely finished. And it will become the best MOC on the channel. See you again friends, bye.